All right, so welcome to another deep dive. This time we're taking a look at Emily's journey with fibroadenoma recovery.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really interesting story about how much you can impact your health with lifestyle changes.
Yeah, definitely.
So we've got Emily's personal account of her experience
Okay.
and some general research on fibroadenomas.
Got it.
And the goal today is to figure out, how did Emily take charge of her health and what can we all learn from that?
Sounds good. Well, what's really interesting about Emily's story is that it goes beyond just dealing with a health issue.
Yeah,
It shows how everything in our bodies is connected. Little changes, can snowball into bigger improvements overall.
I see. So it's not just about the fibroadenoma,
Right.
but her whole well-being.
Right, exactly.
So we know from her story that she's a nutritionist and she found a lump.
Oh.
And then after the initial shock, she got diagnosed with a fibroadenoma.
I can only imagine. That must have been scary at first.
Totally. I think a lot of people would be pretty freaked out to get that diagnosis.
Definitely. Getting a diagnosis, even one that's benign, like a fibroadenoma,
Right.
can make you really anxious.
Yeah.
These are tumors made of both glandular and connective breast tissue.
Hmm.
And while they are common and usually harmless, they can be worrying because of where they are.
Especially for women, it's a sensitive area.
Absolutely.
So given that Emily's a nutritionist, she wasn't just going to sit around and do nothing, right?
Oh, definitely not. Emily dove headfirst into research and found something crucial. Fibroadenoma growth could be linked to inflammation.
Uh-huh.
And what can cause inflammation? Well, things like your diet, stress, even not moving enough. This made her totally rethink her approach to her health.
So it wasn't just treating the fibroadenoma itself. She wanted to look at her whole health picture.
Precisely. It's about creating the right conditions in your body to heal and be well.
Interesting. So her story shows that taking a proactive approach to health is important, even if the diagnosis isn't super serious.
Absolutely.
Let's start with her diet. It seems like she completely changed how she ate.
Yeah, big time. She cut out processed foods, really lowered her caffeine and dairy, and focused on eating lots of fresh produce, especially those cruciferous veggies, broccoli, kale, all that.
Okay, I mean, we all know those are healthy, but
Right.
how do those veggies actually help with fibroadenoma recovery?
Well, they have compounds that can help regulate how estrogen is processed in your body, which is really important for managing fibroadenomas.
Oh, I see, because I remember reading that hormonal balance plays a big part in fibroadenomas developing.
You got it. And all the changes Emily made to her diet were aimed at reducing inflammation and making sure her hormones were balanced.
Hmm.
She also added foods with lots of omega-3s like flax seeds and salmon. They're great for fighting inflammation.
And I love that she started drinking detox teas with turmeric and ginger in them.
Yeah,
It's like she was coming at inflammation from every angle.
exactly. Turmeric and ginger are known for their anti-inflammatory and immune-boosting properties. They help reduce overall inflammation and create a more balanced environment inside the body.
So she's eating clean, fighting inflammation. Did she notice any other positive effects from this new way of eating?
Oh yeah, for sure. She said her digestion got better, she had more energy, and importantly, less discomfort in her breast. Really shows how powerful food can be.
It really does highlight how connected everything is in our bodies. Now, while diet was a major change, Emily also realized that managing chronic stress was super important for keeping her hormones in balance.
Right, it often gets overlooked.
She knew stress could mess with her endocrine system and maybe make the fibroadenoma worse, so she came up with a plan to tackle that stress head on.
Smart move. Chronic stress throws off hormone production and can really impact your overall health.
So what did her plan involve?
Well, she started doing things like journaling, meditating, and breathing exercises every day.
Does sound like good ways to unwind and relax.
Oh, they are. Journaling helps you process your emotions.
Makes sense.
Meditation brings you into the present moment,
Hmm.
and breathing exercises calm your nervous system. Did she mention any specific techniques she liked?
You know what? I don't think she did. But I'm curious about that too. Are there any specific techniques that are especially good for stress related to hormones?
There are, actually. Things like MBSR, mindfulness-based stress reduction, that's been proven to be very effective for lowering stress and helping balance hormones.
MBSR.
And diaphragmatic breathing, where you focus on taking deep breaths into your belly, that can really help regulate how your body responds to stress.
I've heard of MBSR but never tried it. Might have to look into that.
Oh, I highly recommend it. Even just a few minutes a day of mindful breathing can make a big difference.
And on top of that, Emily started limiting her screen time, something I think we all need to do more of.
Absolutely. You're constantly stimulated by screens, and that contributes to stress and messes up your sleep. And both of those things further affect hormonal balance.
Oh, for sure. It's like a vicious cycle.
It is.
But being more mindful of her time and prioritizing those stress-reducing activities, Emily saw a huge change, both mentally and physically.
It's amazing how those little changes can add up.
It really is.
Yeah.
It seems like she was tackling all the key areas for a healthier lifestyle.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've talked about diet and managing stress, which were both super important for Emily's approach to healing.
Right.
But there was something else, right? Movement was also a big part of it.
You got it. She understood that moving your body isn't just about being fit. It's crucial for lymphatic drainage, which helps your body get rid of toxins.
Makes sense.
Plus, it reduces inflammation and makes you feel better, both mentally and physically.
It sounds like she really made movement a central part of her healing process.
Yeah, definitely.
What kind of activities did she do regularly?
She started with daily walks, out in nature.
Oh, nice.
Great way to get those endorphins going and connect with the outdoors.
Yeah, I love a good walk outside.
Me too. And she also added some gentle yoga.
Okay.
Good for lymphatic drainage, relieving stress, and becoming more flexible.
That combo makes a lot of sense.
It does.
Walking is something most people can do pretty easily, and yoga is known for its mind-body benefits.
Exactly. And she didn't stop there. She also did strength training and stretching, finding ways to move her body that felt good to her.
That's key, isn't it? Finding stuff you enjoy so it doesn't feel like a chore.
It is.
Did she mention how often she worked out or how intense her workouts were?
Yeah, she did. Emily focused on listening to her body and not pushing herself too hard. She aimed for at least 30 minutes of moderate intensity exercise most days.
Okay.
But she would change things up based on how she was feeling.
It's a good reminder that you don't have to go overboard with exercise to get the benefits. It's all about finding what works for you personally.
For sure. Consistency and enjoyment are key. And Emily found that even gentle movement made a difference.
So we've got diet, stress management, and movement. Sounds like Emily is covering all the bases for a healthy lifestyle.
She really was.
But there's one more piece to her story.
Okay.
The herbal remedies and supplements.
Ah, yes. She used a few different supplements. Turmeric, ginger, ashwagandha, vitamin D, and magnesium. She chose these with help from a holistic practitioner to target specific needs and make sure they fit with her overall health goals.
That's really important.
Yeah.
Those supplements might have benefits, but it's always best to talk to a healthcare professional before starting any new ones.
Absolutely, especially if you have any health conditions or are taking medications.
Right, because they can help figure out the right dosage for you and make sure there aren't any interactions.
Exactly, and they can give you advice based on your own needs and medical history.
So we've covered all the major parts of Emily's transformation.
Yeah.
The changes to her diet, her stress reduction strategies, her commitment to movement, and using specific supplements.
It was a whole life approach.
But the big question is, did all this effort actually make a difference with her fibroadenoma?
Well, after a few months of consistently doing all these things, Emily went back for another ultrasound.
I bet she was nervous.
You can imagine the mix of anticipation and hope, right?
Totally. So what did the ultrasound show? Did all her hard work pay off?
It did. The results showed that her fibroadenoma had stabilized.
Wow.
No growth, no new lumps, and a lot less discomfort.
That's amazing.
Her doctor was really impressed with how much progress she'd made and totally supported her holistic approach.
That's so great to hear. It really shows how powerful it can be to take control of your own health.
It does. Emily's story is a great example of how lifestyle changes can support the body's natural ability to heal. Now, it's important to remember that results can be different for everyone.
Right.
But taking that step to take care of yourself is always empowering.
It sounds like her experience was about so much more than just a fibroadenoma.
Yeah.
It was like a total lifestyle change that made her healthier overall and helped her understand her body better.
Exactly. She learned how to pay attention to her body's signals, prioritize good nutrition, and proactively manage stress. She saw how even small changes could have a big impact on her physically, mentally, and emotionally.
It's like she unlocked a new level of self-care and awareness.
And her story has so many valuable lessons for everyone listening.
Absolutely. It reminds us that we have more control over our health than we might think.
And while everyone's journey is different, Emily's story shows how important it is to tailor your approach to health and wellness to your own needs.
That's such a good point.
Mm,
It's all about finding what works for you, trying new things, and being open to making adjustments along the way.
that's it. And don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it.
Yeah.
Emily worked with a holistic practitioner to get a plan that was just right for her.
Mm,
Sometimes having that guidance and accountability can be super helpful.
for sure. As we wrap up our deep dive into Emily's journey, it's clear there are a lot of valuable takeaways for all of us.
Definitely.
Emily's story is really inspiring. It shows how she took a situation that could have been scary and turned it into a positive experience.
Right. It makes you think about what we can all take away from her journey and apply to our own lives.
What really hit home for me was the idea that even small changes, done consistently, can make a big difference. It's easy to get overwhelmed when you think about completely changing your lifestyle.
Totally.
But Emily shows us that you don't have to do everything all at once.
It's about taking those little steps, building up those good habits,
Right, one thing at a time.
and trusting the process. And it's also important to remember that everyone's journey is unique.
Mm-hmm.
What worked for Emily might not be exactly right for someone else.
That's true.
But her story shows how important it is to find what works for you individually when it comes to health and wellness.
So true. It's about experimenting, figuring out what fits your needs, and being open to changing things up as you go.
Exactly. And not being afraid to reach out for support when you need it.
Yeah, for sure.
Emily worked with a holistic practitioner to come up with a plan that was specific to her.
Hmm.
Sometimes having that kind of guidance and accountability can make a huge difference.
I can see that. Well, as we wrap up our deep dive into Emily's journey, it's clear that there's a lot we can all learn from her experience.
Absolutely. First and foremost, listen to your body. Pay attention to those little signals that something might not be right.
Good advice.
Early detection is really important.
Yeah, better safe than sorry.
And always remember that you're your own advocate when it comes to your health. Don't be afraid to ask questions, get second opinions, and explore all your options.
That's so important, being proactive about your own care.
Another big takeaway is the power of a holistic approach.
Mm-hmm.
Like we saw with Emily, it's not just about treating the symptoms, it's about getting to the root of the problem and focusing on overall wellness.
Right, it's about looking at the whole picture.
Exactly. Understanding that our physical health, mental health, and emotional health are all connected.
It all ties together.
And Emily's story really highlighted how much our nutrition, stress levels, and movement can affect our bodies.
Yeah, it all plays a part.
By making conscious choices in those areas, we can empower ourselves to live healthier, happier lives.
And let's not forget the impact of those small, consistent changes we talked about earlier.
Right.
They may seem small at first, but over time, they can add up to some pretty amazing results.
It's all about creating habits that will support your well-being in the long run.
Well, I think it's safe to say that Emily's journey is a real inspiration. It reminds us that even when we face challenges, we have the ability to take charge of our health and create positive changes.
Absolutely. So, as we finish up today, think about Emily's story and ask yourself, what small changes can you make today to start taking care of yourself and begin your own journey toward a healthier, happier you?
Because every step, no matter how small, is a step in the right direction.
It is.
And remember, you have the power within you to create a life full of vitality and joy.
Well said. Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep thriving.
We'll see you on the next